Oh, they gave me a straw. Oh. Got one in there too. I'm laughing because that just goes to show I don't be paying attention, right? All right. Whew. I need some cranberry. So, let's talk about the kid's name. Okay, so, we got the son name, right? He said that he called me. I'm in Utah. We both in Utah, rather. And he says to me, oh, I know what I want my children's name to be. So I'm looking at him like, Casey, what you talking about? You ain't having no kids. We ain't even talking about no kids. I said, we ain't even talk about no kids. What you talk about? He said, I know, but just let me tell you your name. Some junkie said. All right, what's next? We have a son. I want him to be named after me. I said, no. We're not naming no son after you. No. Listen. I want the son to be named after me. His name would be... Yeah, right. His name would be Terrence. No, Tracy. Right, that's right. He said Tracy. I must be disagreeing because my son's name is not Tracy. His name is Terrence. Tracy, Scott, Jordan. Right? I can't remember right now. I'm not going to get into it because I'm telling you men that came from my husband originally. So I was like, okay, Tracy Scott Jordan, right? He said, if it's a girl, he said, listen to this. I said, what? Her name is going to be Tandra. I said, Tandra? He said, yeah, Tandra. I said, I ain't never heard that name before. I said, where you get that name from? You know how people will name their children after people in the family. He said, I don't know, I just came up with that name. He said, I was lying down in the dorm and the name just came to me. I said, okay, Sandra. Sandra's good. Sandra's good. Right? I said, I don't know about that Tracy. I just told him, all right, we'll okay, because I wouldn't even think about having no kids by him. Keep going. So, my son's name was supposed to be Tracy. My daughter's name was supposed to be Tandra. Right, went on, got married, came back to New York, went to California, came back to New York, and had my son. They want to know what name you gonna name him. Terrence. I think I asked him. I told him, I said, no, actually, I don't want our children to be named nothing. I don't want our children to be named after us. He said, well, I want my son, I want my son to carry my arm. No. No. He said, all right, right. I said, well, you going to have the girl name. He said, all right. Okay, you can name the boy. So I don't know where I got Terrence from, but no, I think he came up with it. And I told him, no, I know, I'll get it together. I'm sorry. I'm so hungry. My brain is like my stomach feels. I think I was like, no, ain't no children gonna be named after us. No, we ain't. He said, all right, then Terrence. He came up with the Terrence name. Terrence Scott and Tandra. Yeah, we let his son have his last name. Okay. So now, go on. We have the children. Terrence Scott. But unfortunately, and I guess the best of him, he didn't get his father's last name. But me and his father wasn't married. Yeah. So we didn't get married. He came to New York I think the day after Terrence was born. Terrence was born the 5th. He came the 6th or the 8th or something. My birthday was the 8th. So he came about that in that week. And so 2 weeks we had to go through the procedures of getting blood tests and all this other stuff. I don't know whether they do all that now. I think they did it with my daughter. But I don't know whether they do it now. Because then I know when I asked them why we gotta wait for the blood test. They said because we gotta have in the Board of Health what you got and what he got, if there's anything to be got. He said, and so that way when it comes down to divorce or whatever, nobody can accuse nobody that they got something from somebody, because they'll go into the records and see it. So I took that when you go and apply for a divorce. I guess back then, because I don't know how it is now. You go and apply for a divorce, they go through the records and all that stuff. Especially if you say, he had this, he had that. I mean, back then AIDS wasn't out. Excuse me, what's that? Syphilis, all that. You had your what you call them diseases? Sexual transmitted disease. Those was out there, like gonorrhea, syphilis was out there, chlamydia and trichomoniasis. That's what I call it. All them, they was out there, but they wasn't deadly. I think I'm gonna say citrus. I think syphilis was bad. Gonorrhea was bad. And there was others there that I don't know too much about, because I ain't getting none of them, and I ain't transport none of them. So now, you also had something called herpes and stuff like that. So okay. And you also said that way you know your blood type. So your child have a baby, and they blood type, whether it's you, them, or, different reasons for the blood test. But that was the main thing, to make sure that I didn't have nothing and he didn't have nothing. Because, see, they can detect whatever it is, they can detect it in the blood. Even if it was diabetes, even if it was cancer, even if it was, whatever it is, they taking a blood test and everything has to be normal. Your blood levels have to be good. Okay, so apparently we passed that before we can get married. So we have to wait 2 weeks for them blood sisters to come back. And I think we had to pay for something. It's so crazy that they didn't let him make him get a New York ID, because he had his Los Angeles ID, and it was valid because he was about 18, 19, so he had to get. And he went back to. When he went back to job court, when he went back to California, from Utah, I guess he had to get an ID and all that stuff. I don't know, but he had a California ID, whatever. He had a California ID. So I'm gonna switch this here so I can go get in bed. So, that food made me niggerish. This water's hot in the back. Ooh. Alrighty, so now we're gonna get to the girls. Okay. Ooh. Alright, so let us talk about the girl's name. So you know Tandra, right? He named Tandra. So I'll tell you how she got the middle name. So wait a minute, I don't even think. I'm trying to think. Yeah, he was there when Tandra was born. Tandra, they had to induce my labor with Tandra because I went through complications. Actually, I went through some complications with my son. I think I was suffering from high blood pressure after I had after I had my children, because during the course of that they would not give the child to you if your pressure was up. If you was running a fever. So I kept a fever. I think after I had, I'm trying to think who it was. After I had one of my, I'm thinking it was my daughter, Tandra. One of them, as soon as she came out, oh, that was Mary. Okay. So after I had Tandra was nothing. Tandra was a C-section. No. I gave birth to Tandra naturally, but they had to induce my labor because my pelvis wouldn't open. The muscles in my pelvis was well, let me put it like this: the bone wouldn't open up. It was taking too long to open up. So I was going through labor a long time. So I was having the pains. Of a 8 centimeters. So you know you're not too far from having the baby. So I was having pains like that, and the midwife noticed it, and she informed the doctor and told the doctor that we need to induce her labor. So from the 8 centimeters, maybe I'll say within 15 minutes, my pelvis started opening. So they induced it so that it would put enough, I'm going to use the term, enough pressure on the muscles so that the muscles would do their job. So it did do the job, and it started opening up, and I was able to deliver my daughter. When it came for the name, I didn't have no name because I thought it was going to be, no, I didn't have a name. So I'm talking to my grandmother, asking my grandmother, right? Oh, no. I'm sorry. My brain is all over the place. Her name was Tandra, and I was asking my grandmother for a middle name. So she came up, she said, well, my name is Friedel. She started naming names, and she said Friedel. I said, so that's what I'm going to name her, Friedel. So my daughter that's dead today, her name is Tandra Friedel Jordan. And it's just like it sounds, Free and Del. Like Dell, like the computer Dell. And free like you free. So that was her name. Tandra is pronounced with a D but spelled with a G. It's T-A-N-G, like good R-A. Right. We didn't too much know how to spell it. When it came down giving birth, when it came down to put the name on the birth certificate, the lady was like, how do you spell that? So I was like, T-A-N-G-R-A. She said T-A-N-D-R-A. I said, no. She said, Tandra. I said, yeah, I know. But it's a G. It's pronounced G. Tandra. J. Like with that G. Okay. So now, Mary comes along. Right? So you should automatically know where Mary comes from. Because Mary is 100% biblical. Right? Tandra and Terrence is not biblical. Their last name is Scott, not biblical. The last name is Friedel, that's my grandmother, also not biblical. So after that, I said I have any more children. Well, let me not say that. We'll leave that alone. So now, Mary comes along, but I'm thinking she was going to be a boy. I wasn't in the church when I got pregnant. I wasn't in the church. Oh, yeah. I was. What I'm talking about? I'm thinking about Danielle. I was in the church. When the situation happened with Tandra, with her father, my husband, I was saved. I was saved. I was quiet. I was submissive. I was a totally different woman. I'm like I am now. Very submissive to men. You know, I'm submissive to my husband now. And I was submissive to him then. He was saved too. When I was pregnant with Mary, my husband was saved. Not throughout the whole pregnancy. I'm going to say the beginning of pregnancy. Because he got saved after tangent. So, I was submissive. He backslid before, not too long after tangent was born. Right? So, we had gotten saved. So, I was still saved when I got pregnant with Mary. And that was the next child from him. So now, came time for her birth. We didn't discuss no names and nothing. So, now she's born. She's born now. Because just like I said, I thought she was going to be a boy. Because everybody was saying, oh, your belly is red. It look like a football. You're going to be a boy. It's going to be a boy. You're carrying it like a boy. Now, here's the thing. She was a twin. She was a twin. But unfortunately, she was the dominant one. This is what the doctor told me. She was the dominant one, and I don't know whether what they say, she ate the sack or something, or she ate all the food. It was something like that. She was dominant, so she took over the stomach. She ate all the food. And it reminded me a little bit of Jacob and Esau. When he came out and he bruised the heel, his hand, I think his hand, when he came out, I think they say his hand was touching the foot or something. So I think Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, or Jacob sold his birthright to Esau, one of the two. So it was sort of like that. So, but unfortunately, he didn't, there was no more, another twin didn't make it out. The twin didn't make it. Even though it was a twin in there with her. When I gave birth, I was pushing. I was like, what's going on? Why nothing came coming out? And the doctors are there. And back then, only your doctor can touch you. So they was busy waiting for my doctor to come that I went through prenatal with. So even though I was in the hospital, this is in Woodhall. Even though I was in the hospital, none of them doctors would touch me. And when I say touch me, they, put the glove on, check how far, and nope. From the time I got admitted in there, they rolled me to labor and delivery inside one room. Because there's a labor room, and then they'll roll you out of the labor room and take you into the delivery room. But I think because the doctor wasn't there at the time, they just rolled me into the labor delivery room, so that way if the doctor came, they there. If it comes down that the baby is born before the doctor come, I'm all ready. They did not touch me. They all standing around. My husband is sitting over there. Cause they like, come on, father. Come on, daddy. You can come closer. Come hold her hand. Help her. He was like, no, I'm still over here. And I'm looking at him like, wow, you are a lot of help. Because she was hard. She was a hard delivery because she was a twin. So I'm pushing. I'm like, what is going on here? Why is there nothing coming out? And they looking too. They like, ooh, what is this? What is this? They like, what is that? Oh my goodness, is that a bubble? And I don't know, I think Tracy said he got up and he looked and he said he saw something great. He saw something great coming out or something like that. And they was like, oh, it's a bubble. It's a bubble. What is that? They, you know how they tell you don't push or they didn't tell me nothing because they couldn't say nothing. Because the doctor, I think the doctor was from another hospital because I was in HIP, and HIP Medicaid, you go to Pacific's, right, because they had HIP clinics. Y'all remember back then it was HIP clinic. So I would go to the HIP clinic, HIP clinic in Manhattan. So it was doctors that was connected to Woodhull Hospital, but didn't work out of Woodhull Hospital. Their hospital was in Manhattan. But they put you in the hospital that's close to where you live, and they'll come to the hospital. So that's how it works. So they was waiting for her, and I'm pushing. And then they started saying, "Oh my God, there we go. Ooh, that baby got a head full of hair." Because we said, "Ooh, look at all that black hair she got." That's what was coming out. The hair was, because I was pushing. Because I don't know what happened to the bubble. The bubble must have bust.
My mom said that, can she have the remote, please?
So I don't know what happened to that bubble. I think it wound up coming out. I had to push that out. And when I pushed that out, the baby, then they started seeing the baby. They was like, "What's that? There's something behind it." They said, "Oh my goodness, she having twins or something?" Oh, and then I heard somebody say, one of the nurses or whatever said, "Oh, she was gonna have twins. I wonder what happened." But anyway, that twin baby didn't come out because what's her name was, Mary was the dominant one. I don't think she ate the bag or nothing like that. They say that happens sometimes when you having a twin and one of them is more dominant. They'll eat the placenta. I don't know how to eat all that. I don't know. So that means they ate the baby because the baby's in the placenta. But anyway, but that's not what she did. She just was the dominant one. She ate all the food, so that baby could not develop and grow. So she came out. The doctor came in right when she was coming out. Doctor walked in and said, "Come on, doctor, here it comes." She went. They gave her the things and the the gloves and stuff, and she because she was already dressed in her uniform. All she had to do was put the gloves on. And she came. They gave her gloves, and she went in there. She came on in there, and she brought Miss Mary out. She came like I felt it. She was coming. And next you know, whoosh, you heard the big whoosh come out. Whoosh. Like a whole hunk of water, like. And it was like she slid right out there. They said, "Ooh, catch her!" They said, "Oh," because they didn't have a chance to prep me. You know, they usually prep. They put your legs up if they're gonna shave it. But they put your legs up. And they put the cloth over you, and they do all the stuff that they need to do to you, you know, prepping you for your delivery because you getting ready to deliver. But since I was in labor and delivery, my body did it all. When it came time for me to go through them contractions, I started going through them contractions. She was kind of easy. Yeah, she was kind of easy. Because, see, all my children was behind one another, so. In so many words, I didn't give my inside enough time to heal before I was pregnant again. So, she came on out. They took her up. They cleaned her up. No, they took her. When the doctor, when she came sliding out and they caught her, the doctor put her right on and said, "Go ahead, breastfeed her." And she was a greedy baby. Because as soon as they put her on, she's like, They was like, oh my goodness, she wanna get breastfed, mommy breastfeed her. I'm like, what? Breastfeed her, mommy. And so they was whistling, come on now, breastfeed her, put up your blouse, open your thing with the fire again. So I started breastfeeding her, and she was tearing up that milk. All I could do is look at her. I said to her, when I looked at her, I said to her, I said, you is going to be greedy. You gonna be a greedy baby. Okay, so done had her. So now I'm talking to my grandmother. I said, Mommy, I said, I don't know what I'm gonna call this baby. She said, Sharon, you ain't got a name for it. I said, no, ma'am. I said, we gotta go back in your names again. She said, all right. So she started naming her names. And then she said, Mary. I said, Mom, your name Mary? She said, yeah. She said, you can name her Mary if you know. I think Mommy named her Mary. I don't think that was her name. So I said, yeah, Mommy named her Mary. She said, well, you got Mary. I said, oh, Mary's nice. I said, you want to name her Mary, Mommy? She said, you can name her Mary. So I named her Mary. I said, we got to give her a middle name. She said, you want her to have a middle name? I said, yes, ma'am. Let her have a middle name. So she started naming her names. That's when she started naming her name. And she got to Adrene. I said, Adrene? I said, Mary Adrene. I said, I like that, Mommy. I said, yeah. She said, yeah, that's nice. So that's the third girl. Because I had two, well, at that time it was two girls. So I named her Mary Adrene. Now Danielle, I had already came to a conclusion that if she was a boy, because that was another thing, people was telling me that I was having a boy again. So I was like, okay, if I have a boy, because I really don't know where. I said, yeah. I said, okay, all right, we have a boy. I said, if I have another boy, I said, my grandmother got that boy, which is Terrence. I said, if I have another boy, okay, I'm going to name him Clarence. His name was going to be Clarence Lee. That was his name. Clarence, to go with Terrence. Clarence Lee. Like Lee. And I liked it, the Lee, because it rang a bell, and it reminded me, I'm trying to think what I done. Yeah. And it was reminding me, no, let me just leave that alone. My mind goes to different places, but I want to stay focused and I want to stay truthful. So, Terrence Lee, I liked how it sounds. So that was going to be the boy name if I had a boy. But thankfully and fortunately, I had another girl. So I named her. Her name came from Dynasty, Dominique Devereaux. So instead of me naming her the Dominique Devereaux, I took Dominique's real name, which was Danielle something, I think. But I know I got her last name, Dominique. I want to watch that. I want to see if it has I want to know if it has I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, I named her Danielle from the same Dominique. I think her real name was Danielle, but on the show, she was Dominique Devereaux. And I'm looking at Dynasty, but I don't see it. Oh no, that's not the original. Oh, y'all need to watch Dynasty. They came out with a new Dynasty. I think it came out in 2017. No, I want to see 1981. Okay, so let's see. John Forsythe. They said it was a female cast. I want to see that one. That was good. I watched that. Then I watched it, 90210. You remember that? I'm trying to get the names of the people. Okay, Blake Carrington was John Forsythe. He's also took me a long time to know that. John Forsythe was also Charlie from Charlie's Angels. Took me a long time to find that out. I put the voice together. I don't think I ever saw who Charlie was. I don't think they ever showed who Charlie was. But, because I never had the sense enough to look up the cast. But I remember the voice from Dynasty. Okay, so Crystal Carrington was Linda Evans. Fallon was Pamela Sue Martin. Claudia was Pamela Bellwood. Stephen Carrington, Elizabeth Jeff. John James. I'm trying to get these. What's her name? Alexis Colby was Joan Collins. Sammy Joe was Heather Locklear. Yeah. Mark Jennings. Wait a minute. Oh, I think she came. Here we go. Oh no, her name was Diane. Yep, Diane Carroll. That was her real name. But it wasn't Danielle. But I was thinking Diane. But I gave her last name, Dominique Devereaux. But I spell her name Damo. It's Dominique. But I spell it Domonique. So that's where the Damo coming in. Damo is DOMONIQUE. I wonder if we can watch this. Oh my goodness. I think they have it where you can buy it. But I don't think we can watch it. Oh, she died. Joe Collins died. No. Oh, this must be how long. No, they got dates here from 1981 to 1989. Oh, these are the... Oh, okay. Are they showing them what they look like now? Oh, wow. Y'all remember that? I don't know whether it was a rumor or whether it was true. And one of the, I think towards the last episodes of Dynasty, Rock Hudson came on. And Rock Hudson and Linda Evans Crystal had some type of affair going on. And then they did a scene where they kissed. And then it came out that Rock Hudson had AIDS. And then they brought it out. Something came out with her. I don't know whether she wanted to sue him or she got tested or something like that. I don't know. Y'all can look it up. I'm sure it's in the Google section. But I remember that. Because I was crazy about Rock Hudson. I loved it myself some Rock Hudson. When I found out that he had AIDS, I was like, what? Now, I'm not frowning up my face because it's a disease, but I'm just rounding up my face that he was fine. He was a fine white boy. Just like Elvis was a fine white boy. Hey, I ain't saying it by saying you look good. I ain't saying in the perspective that I wanted to get in the bed with them. Nah. they just fine. Hey, they even talk about things like that in the Bible, how people was fair looking. What you think? You think the fair was the skin? No, the fair was beautiful. Fair, he had fair daughters, or, I'm paraphrasing. They, instead of using the word, they didn't know the words that we know now. They didn't know good looking and handsome and fine. They didn't know them words back then, so they would use the word fair. And they even had words for some of the women in the Bible that didn't look that good. But anyway, he was fine. Okay, so they shown. I liked the Heather Locklear, which was Sammy Joe. I liked her. Let's see who else in there. Pamela Sue Martin. She was found. I liked her too. Diane. Her name was Diane Carroll. Okay, let me see who else I know. See, some names like stood out because they had somebody named Kate Kirby. I remember Kirby. You know them Carringtons. Stephen Carrington. I remember Stephen Carrington. Well, he was born 1956. Leslie Carrington. All these Carringtons. Ben Carrington, I remember him. I don't know who Clay was. Name kind of sound familiar. French, mentioned. They probably gonna have Rock Hudson in here in a little while. Let me see. They bring him in because he played for just a little bit. They got how many episodes each person playing. Some of these pictures is black and white. So what, they died or something? Well, that's the only picture that they had was black and white. I was looking to see if they was going to show Rock Hudson. But that's how Mary got her name. My grandmother named her, gave her the first name and the last name. Unfortunately, Tandra's deceased today. And my grandchild, my Danielle, named her daughter after her. She was going to put her name first. She was going to name her Tandra. But I told her, I said, no. I said, don't put her first name. Because she really, I can see if she knew her. I feel like this. I don't think, this is my opinion. I would not name my daughter because my husband was telling me to name, he's going to name the son after him, and then I can name our daughter after me. I said, no, I don't want none of my children to have our names. So when they get older, and they turn out to be nobody, if that's what they turn out to be, God forbid they turn out to be nobody, God forbid they turn out to be alcohol, God forbid they turn out to be a drug dealer, they gonna blame it on us because we named them. See, if you hadn't gave me that name, if you didn't give me your name, I wouldn't have been an alcoholic. Because my daughter did drink a lot. And it wasn't because I was drinking with her. Like, in my stomach, if anything, my Danielle should be an alcoholic because I drank like crazy with her. But thank God she didn't come with no deformities. You see what I'm saying? Thank God for that. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. Okay. But my daughter from my husband that's deceased, she drank a lot. And it probably was because of the issues and the things that she was going through in life, right? So with that being said, I don't want to talk too much about that. But I was not naming none of my children after me. I wasn't giving none of them my names. So that's why I told my daughter, no, do not name your child after her her auntie because she didn't know the auntie. Maybe she knew the auntie. If she knew the auntie real well, right? Could remember the auntie. Let's say the auntie died like now, that she's 7, 8 years old. I mean, you can't name. Maybe she'll have a child, and then she could name the child. But it still boils down to the same thing. The child don't know the person. So that's why I didn't want to name no child after me. Because the child don't know mommy. She just know mommy, I got mommy name. And then she go up and can't stand mommy. And every time they call her Sherry, oh, she gonna go pay thousands of dollars to change her name. No, I'm not gonna brand my child with that. And don't brand my grandchild with that. So she put the name as the middle name. So her name is Elizabeth. I named her that. I named her Elizabeth. Because I was telling her, I told my daughters, I said, when y'all have kids, I said, y'all can have the first name, I got the middle name. And every last one that you have, the middle name is going to be biblical. So that's why my grandchildren from Mary, all her children except for her last child got biblical names. Her first child is Javon Josiah. Her second child is Jamel Elijah. Her third child is Damani David. Her fourth child is the one that I didn't name and she didn't name. Her fourth child is Michael. I call him Miguel. Louise. Right? Supposed to have been Louis, but his father said it was Louise, so that's what's on his birth certificate. So I don't know what Louise. Maybe Louise means Louis in Spanish, or maybe he named his son Louise because it's his mother. I don't know. I don't know the story. But all them boys you got, just like I said, you got Javon Josiah. You got Jamel Elijah. You got Damani David. You got, and then you got Michael. Then you got Elizabeth. So I told my daughter, Danielle, I said, okay, I told y'all, when y'all have your children, I got the middle name. So she was like, Mommy, you could have the first name. I'll take the middle name. She said, so I named her Elizabeth. We've been talking about Elizabeth for years before she even got pregnant. So when she finally had her child, she said it's going to be Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, Tandra, she gave her my middle name, Sabrina, and last name is Jordan. So her name is Elizabeth, Tandra, Sabrina, Jordan. So those are the names, and those are how the kids got their names. God bless you.